If you're trying to get better at golf but just hitting more balls, you're wasting your time. In the next 20 minutes, I'll show you the fastest way to actually improve your golf game using real data, better mechanics, and a home setup that changed everything for me. And the biggest surprise, it's not lessons, range time, or new clubs. Stay to the end because I'll show you the exact setup I use, including my Rapsodo MLM2Pro and home golf simulator, and why this works faster than anything else I've tried. Make sure you stick around until the end because I'm going to share what I think is the most important piece of this puzzle to getting better at golf faster. Why do most golfers improve slowly? Here's the hard truth about getting better at golf. Most golfers practice without feedback. They hit balls, hope it feels right. It doesn't. And guess why shots go left or right? That just doesn't work, and it's never going to make you a better golfer. It's driver, 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 pitching wedge, driver, driver, driver. You get it. We need to break that habit too. Sure, it's fun to hit driver. I love cranking the ball over the net at the range. But until you have good mechanics, let's put that puppy away for now. That's not practice, that's gambling. You're just swinging to swing with no intention. If you want a free practice plan to help you out, comment free guide below and I'll send you the link to our free practice guide. It's what I use to practice and I think it works. The fastest way to get better at golf is shortening the feedback loop. What does that mean? It means understanding what we're doing. That's the theme of this entire video, and everything I show you today supports that. By the way, another thing to help you speed up is Dubby. They've got great energy and hydration powders to help you through your sessions. Check out dubby.gg/golfreboot and check out what they have. Next up, learning golf mechanics the right way. Before you start using technology, you need mechanics, but not the way most people learn them. Instead of memorizing 20 swing thoughts, we don't want to think about swing thoughts on the course. Focus on these 3 fundamentals. Club face control. This is exactly what it sounds like. Controlling the face of the club throughout the swing. Now, I'm sure you've seen some crazy swings out there, whether it's a new golfer or a pro, but there's one thing in common with good and great golfers. They can control exactly where the club face is at all times. And they also know where it is. They know where it is. Not just control it, they know. So how do they do it? They grip the club correctly and understand the weight of the club in relation to their grip. That means they know where the face is based on feel. That takes time, but I generally know that my face is lined up with my left thumb pointing straight at it. That means if my thumb is turned clockwise, the face is open. If it's turned counterclockwise, it's closed. That is huge to know. And with that correct grip that we talked about in the last video, you give your wrists the ability to whip through the ball and be square at impact. Next up, we've got low point control. Low point is huge. At first, golfers think that they should be hitting behind the ball and scooping. Wrong. 100% wrong. The only time you're realistically doing that is when you're in the sand. On a normal shot, you want ball contact first. The low point should be a few inches ahead of the ball. What this does is it causes you to compress the ball. It'll then take the power and the speed of the club and also have the correct loft and launch to give you the right flight. This is huge with irons. We talked about the tape drill last video. That's huge too, and that's why I'm able to compress the ball the right way now. Face to path relationship. Face to path sounds a lot more confusing than it is. I'll add a chart here as we talk it through. The 3 path types are out to in, which is standard with slicers. A lot of times this happens because you're either too close to the ball or you're not dropping or throwing, as I like to say, the club at the start of your downswing. What this does is it causes you to throw the club outside the ball or cast and then come back in for contact. Into out. You throw the club straight down at the start of your backswing. That means as you're turning and your hips are firing, the club is coming from inside, near your body, inside your hands, to out. This is generally going to cause a draw ball flight, which is what most people shoot for. Last up is basically a zero swing, I'm going to call it. Straight back, straight through. This really isn't something we talk about much because almost everyone is either out to in or into out. If you have what I call a zero, in theory, your ball flight should be dead straight. Now, how does face affect path? It can amplify or decrease the club path. For example, if you have a club path of out to in, slicey, and an open face, it's going to be an even more nasty slice. But if you're out to in with a closed club face, you will hit it straight as an arrow, but pull it way left. Another example, if you're into out and have a slightly open, you'll have a push draw that starts right and comes back to the left. If you're into out with a fully open face, you'll push it right. It takes a lot of time, but slowly it'll start making sense. If you understand just these 3 things, you'll improve faster than 90% of golfers. Quick question. Comment below. Are your misses usually left, right, fat, or thin? That answer tells us which mechanic you actually need to work on. Next up, why data changes everything. This is where most golfers skip a step and where I saw the biggest jump in my game. This is my Rapsodo MLM2Pro. The Rapsodo MLM2Pro gives you instant feedback on things like ball speed, club speed, launch angle, spin rate, descent angle, angle of attack, club path, shot shape, all of these different things that you can use to get better at golf. And here's the key. It tells you why the ball did what it did. Instead of guessing, I can make one swing change and instantly know if it worked. I generally use the range feature or target range depending on what my goals are for the day. I've had the MLM2Pro for about a year now, and it changed everything. I can watch ball flight and see all of the data. A lot of times now, based on the flight and the feel, I can guess what I did wrong and then go look at the data to make sure. I can see if I had a negative attack angle with my irons, meaning I compressed the ball, or not. I can see the data on club path, really almost everything. And the price is great compared to other brand launch monitors. If you're interested in getting your own Rapsodo, check out the links below or go to playbetter.com/golfreboot. I think you'll be surprised. I've actually met with a group from Rapsodo to give them my thoughts and talk about the future. They're a great company that really listens to you, and they're constantly upgrading the software. I'm really excited to try out the CLM, the ceiling launch monitor that they just talked about at the PGA show when they release it. But realistically, there's different brands and it depends what you specifically need, but this is where you can really change your game. I am so much more confident with my game now, and I really feel like I can feel what I'm doing when I swing. On top of that, I can also play and practice 33,000 courses throughout the world whenever I want to in my garage. That's given me the ability to play golf in the off season and in bad weather. And if I'm going out to play a course with buddies, I'll actually play around on my Rapsodo beforehand of that course to get a feel for the course. It gives me an advantage. On top of that, you've got things like closest to the pin, scrambles, best ball, target range, and all different things that can help you practice with a purpose. I'm doing speed training right now, and it already has my driver speed up another 5 miles an hour, but that's something for you to worry about later on, once we get your swing figured out. Another thing that's important is to look good on the course. Check out bustedgolf.com/golfreboot and treat yourself to some nice clothes and accessories, not just for the course or the range, but for your everyday life. In a minute, I'm going to show you how I use this inside my home simulator and why that's where the real gains happen. So, building a home golf simulator. If you want the fastest way to get better at golf, nothing beats a home setup. Why does this work? Here's why a home golf simulator accelerates improvement. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It could be a very simple mat and net setup. You practice more often. You remove range distractions. There's no guy in a cart trying to pick up balls for you to hit at. You get immediate data and video feedback. We've talked about it before, but right now we're standing in the GIF, also known as my garage. Well, it was a garage, and then I accidentally got to the point where now I can't use it as one anymore, and all of my stuff is outside. It honestly started with a cheap Amazon net, and it slowly grew and grew and grew. I wouldn't change a thing. I started off cheap, and I'm slowly upgrading as time goes on. Next up for me is adding putting turf all around, making a better impact frame, and hopefully raising the ceiling to install the Rapsodo CLM as soon as they release it. I won't go too deep into that, but you can check out the link to see a full video review of our sim and the Rapsodo. Now here's a practical breakdown. Go to Amazon, buy a net and a mat. Get something good for you. I suggest buying a cheap 4x5 mat off Amazon and cutting in the Country Club Elite 10-inch by 24-inch hitting strip like I did. I was having issues with hurting my wrists and my elbows until I did it, and now the pain's gone. It's a much better hitting surface. There's links to all of the things that I've used at golfreboot.com/thegif. You can get the Rapsodo MLM2Pro or something similar. You can basically get all of this at playbetter.com/golfreboot. Whether you go Rapsodo, Square, TrackMan, whatever brand, get something that works. I like Rapsodo because of the price, the fact that it's dead on accurate compared to the other brands. If you set it up correctly. 95% of the problems I see people having are because they didn't set it up correctly and then they want to blame Rapsodo. And I also love the other features courses include in their subscription, which is reasonable, and the fact that I have videos of every single swing and impact, along with all the data saved up in the cloud. You need an iPad or an iPhone, which you already likely have. With Rapsodo, that's enough. Other brands, you likely need a gaming PC. You can also add a monitor, TV, and or a projector setup as time goes on. I've got all three. Now, space requirements. Space can be an issue. My garage is about 19 feet by 19 feet. Usable space on the inside is about 16 feet long, 14 feet wide. That's enough for now until I renovate the garage. The biggest issue I have is ceiling height. It's only 8 feet tall. I'm 5'8" and it's just enough for me. I can basically swing my driver. Sometimes I do hit the ceiling. I'm planning to increase at least to 9 feet eventually, but even if you don't have the room, you can set up a short game area or just hit iron. And the plus about Rapsodo, you can use it outdoors and still play courses and all the other things. Long story short, you don't need a $20,000 golf simulator. What you need is consistency and feedback. The fastest practice routine. Here's the exact routine that I've used before, and this alone has shaved strokes off my score. It's a 20-minute routine. 5 minutes, focusing on mechanics and slow swings. Then you move on for 10 minutes, data-driven shots. One goal. So whether it's distance, whether it's dispersion, whether it's controlling the club or flight, do that and check your data as you're going. And then 5 minutes of random target challenge. Pick a target, hit towards it. Switch every couple shots. No mindless hitting. Every shot has a purpose. The point isn't just to hit and hit and hit. Sometimes that's fine. I call that de-stressing. But you need to have a goal. I normally only hit 4 clubs per session if I go to the range. A lot of times I only bring a few with me so that I focus on them. If you need a plan, don't forget to comment free guide below and I'll send you the link to our free practice guide that I use a lot of times when I'm practicing. It's a little bit different than the one above. And here's a big thing with practicing. Like I said earlier, we all want to hit the big stick. No one wants to practice putting or short game. I honestly find those parts of the game fun to practice. I've also learned that those parts of the game are where I score. When I was a golfer in high school, I could not hit the driver for the life of me. I regularly saved my rounds from 100 yards and in by having a solid short game and being very good on and around the green. Learn to chip and lag putt and your scores will drop. I have a whole putter gapping system I use. Check out the video I made on that a few months back. It really works. Now, for the big reveal, what is the fastest way to get better at golf? If it's not hiring a coach, if it's not more range time, if it's not new clubs, and if it's not copying YouTube swings, I know what you're thinking. What the is it? It's shortening the feedback loop. Mechanics plus data plus consistent practice at home. It may take time to understand some of the pieces, but once you do, you'll be set and understand what you have to do, and you'll be a better golfer because of it. If this helped you, let me know down in the comments, which one of these mistakes are you fixing first? Are you fixing your mechanics, practicing better, building your own sim? All of them? With all this, it's really important as a new golfer to not fall down and get trapped with common mistakes. If you want to prevent those, there's a video popping up right over here about the 5 common mistakes new golfers make. It's things I wish I knew when I started in 2004. And don't forget to subscribe so you see the rest of our videos and become part of the Golf Reboot family so that together we can play better, have more fun, and love the game again. See you next time.